Hello, welcome back to the Knitting with a Capital K podcast. My name is Bethany and I have been knitting with a capital K for just under 2 years now. And tomorrow is Thanksgiving. When you are watching this, it will most likely be Thanksgiving because it is 11:30 right now. So by the time we're done talking, it'll probably be Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving. I hope that you either are able to be with those that you love or you're able to take some space this holiday. It feels like a really long time since I have talked about knitting with you all. But I think that's just because I've had to do a lot of sewing for an order that I'm trying to finish. And so I have not been able to knit as much as I want to, which is a lot. I want to knit a lot right now. But I have finished three objects since the last time we talked. And I can show two of them to you. One of them I already sent off to my sister, but before I sent it off to my sister, I made a video about it. It was a historical knitting pattern for a set of mitts, and it was really a really cool experience to be able to do. My sister works on some historical grounds in Indiana. She wears this costume from 1816, and so everything that she wears has to be time period appropriate. So there's this historical pattern book called the Workwoman's Guide. It has patterns for knitting and sewing and recipes for cooking and all of that. And I got some hand spun from where she works because they sell the yarn that they spin there, and it's just lovely. And this is what I have left over. So I'm excited to see what that can fit in. I've been thinking about maybe putting it on the cuffs of a sweater or something. Still deciding. Yeah. But I am going to post a picture on Instagram of those. I made a reel with them on my hands, so you can go check that out on my Instagram if you want. But I'm going to ask her to send me a picture of them while she's in her work uniform, because I think they would look great with that on. The next finished object is what I am wearing. This is my Musselburgh, and I love it. Not only do I love wearing it, I loved the process of making it. It's lovely. It's hiding my hair that needs to be washed right now. But when you make it, it's just a tube that you make. And on the inside, I added some Suri Alpaca. There's a piece of thread in there. Weird. I really like how this hat stays on my head. And some fabric over there just moved. I must be precariously set now that things are vibrating in here because I'm talking. This hat I love the way it sits on my head. It's fabulous. The self-striping yarn is from Woolens and Nosh. It's a DK weight, so 4-ply, and it is in the colorway This Is the Way from the TV show Mandalorian. If you are a fan of that show, you know that they say that in almost a cultish way throughout the show. And I really loved working with that yarn. It's very nice. It's 90% superwash targhee and 10% nylon. So you could use it for socks if you want. This was a DK weight, and it's all gone. I used it all in this. I actually ran out. I didn't estimate the amount of yarn that I would need when I started my decreases. So where the yellow is here, that's the end. of the This Is the Way. And up here, I just filled in with some Holst yarn that I have in a cone up here. And it's a fingering weight. So even though holding it double made it a little bit denser than the rest of the fabric, I just was finishing it off, and it's on the inside of the hat. And it also looks like it goes with, like, it looks kind of the same as that. So it doesn't look weird, even if I decided to wear it reversibly. And that's the whole point of this hat, is it's fashioned after a World War II pattern for soldiers for a fatigue cap. And basically, when it's the tube, they could wear it around their neck as a scarf, and then if you put it in on itself, it's a hat. I'm not too excited about how the holes for the increases look with those make ones. I am slowly becoming not much of a fan of make ones. I think I'm gonna do some research on like invisible increases, because when I do knit through the front and the back loop, you get that little almost pearl bump with it. And I've been trying to think of how I can do some more invisible increases. So I need to probably search some Very Pink Knits videos about that. But I really like this self-striping yarn. It just was lovely. And it's nice because, of course, with self-striping yarn, instead of saying, oh, I want to do this many rows, with this, I just was saying, I just want to get through a color repeat today. And because of how well that went, I actually went about 10 rows past where I wanted to start the alpaca, and I wanted the alpaca to be on my ears. So at first I thought, well, I could just add the alpaca, but 10 stripes from here means it's not going to be on my ears. I have little ears. In fact, my friends, whenever they notice my ears, they're always like, those are the ears of a child. And I'm like, okay. They're just little ears. And this, even with this hat being too big, it is a size, at least a size too big for my head. I should have just trusted the advice of Maddie and Kristen from the We Share Needles podcast. I should have just trusted their advice. They've made a million Musselburghs, and they had said that if you are making a Musselburgh that is any weight heavier than fingering, you should size down in your estimation of what you should be making. But I started doing that, and then I looked at it and thought, that can't be right. I should just learn that my estimation of what something looks like on the needles while it's still on the needles is probably 50-50. Like, it's not a follow your gut type of situation. It does not mean that I'm right about it. But even with it being so big, it still feels really nice. It still feels really nice. It's really cozy. The Suri Alpaca was a great choice to put on the inside. And of course, Beverly at the Wooden Needle helped me find that. It was so nice. I'm trying to find the little piece that I had left of it, because there was not very much left. And it's somewhere here. Guys, there's like fabric and yarn everywhere in this room right now. It's kind of exploded. I'm usually a pretty tidy sewist when I'm working on projects, but I've been working on a lot of them. Oh, here it is. I set it on the chair. This is the Suri Alpaca. That's the color I used. It's the color Moonlight. And this is the Cumulus Suri Alpaca. So it is in that colorway Moonlight 905, and it is 74% baby Suri Alpaca and 26% mulberry silk. I know that some people are mohair people and some people are alpaca people. That some people find alpaca itchy and some people find mohair itchy. I'm one of the people that finds mohair a tad itchy, but alpaca is just, oh, it's so good. So I'm loving this. However, I do wonder if I had made it the correct size, if it would be even more scrumptious. So I have plans to make another one because my sister, who is also a knitter, she has a bigger head than I do. And so I wonder, I asked her if I made another Musselburgh, if she would be interested in this color palette and if she would like it. And she said yes. So I'm going to make myself another one in a color palette I also like still, and just wear this until I finish it and then send the one on my head off to her and start wearing the one that I'm about to make. So win-win-win all around. And that's the thing. I was thinking as soon as I put it on, like I do prefer a kind of slouchy hat. And every once in a while I'll put it on and it's like a bucket hat. And that's just not the vibe I'm going for. So I have to remind myself to pull it back a little bit. But it's like all the way down my neck. It's like the slouchiest thing ever. But I think the alpaca gently just hugs my hair, and so it doesn't come off at all. And I really like it. In fact, I keep wearing it out to go run an errand or something, and then when I come back inside, I don't want to take it off because it's super comf. As my sister would say, super comf. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say about that one. Definitely try it. It's so nice. You start with this pinhole cast on, and then you do your increases, stockinette, decreases, like, you know, finish off, and it's lovely, lovely. It's great. I loved having it as car knitting, you know, just once you're done with the increases, you just are knitting for a long time. So it's really nice. This is my third finished object. These are Will's birthday socks. Will is my brother. These blockers are not big enough for these socks, but I thought it would still help for you to be able to see them. This is, the yarn is Paton's Kroy in the 70s Stripes colorway. I think they look great. The one thing that I think is interesting is if you look at them closely, the pattern, the color patterns are reversed, which is fine. And for most people, if you were to split a 100-gram skein or ball of yarn, then that's just what would happen anyway. If you didn't rewind what you wound off, you're gonna come up with these reverse stripe situations. But I didn't do that. Paton's Kroy comes in 50-gram skeins, and I just knit this one with one skein and this one with another one. So maybe Paton's Kroy does that, where they're just winding things off randomly. So I thought that was funny. I was about here when I noticed it, and I just was like, wait a minute, that's supposed to be like that. But I think the heels turned out well, even with the striping in there, because you can see it's still going with the blue, even if there's just one row of blue in between on this one. And then on this one, I think it turned out even better, that there was barely any difference here. I really like the way they turned out. I started with a 72 stitch cast on, and I asked my husband to measure the height of a set of boots that he has that are similar to my brother's, that my brother wears all the time, so that they would just come up a little bit above that boot so that they would be comfy in his shoes. Heel flap and gusset. I did an Eye of Partridge heel. I think that is one of my favorites. Just the way it looks is really fun and textury. I like a slip stitch heel as well. And I might make him another pair of socks with that and see if he likes that better, because I feel like the slip stitch heel is more huggy than the Eye of Partridge heel. I get that it's supposed to be a double layer of fabric to kind of protect the sock from too much friction in your shoe, but the slip stitch heel does that as well, just in a different way. And I wonder, he has just thinner feet, and so I wonder if that would help him. He wears a size 9, and I'm just wondering, you know, the way that knitting is somewhat elastic, so that when your foot is in something, because it's stretching out, it gets shorter, right? I wonder if these will fit him well or not, because I ran out of yarn sooner than I would normally have stopped decreasing on a toe. I believe I normally have 16 stitches left, so I have 8 on both sides of my Kitchener stitch. But with this, I had to stop at 11 or 12 on both sides. And so it's a little bit, you can see it's a little bit flatter here. And I'm not sure if that's going to serve him well or not. So with each pair of socks that I make my family, I'm determined to ask them for notes, so that if I make them another pair of socks, that I can just remember what to adjust for that. But these are his birthday socks. His birthday was in October, but they're finally done, and I am going to send them off to him. I'm not going to block them because I don't have a set of blockers that would fit these socks. I don't have a set of large blockers, so I'm just going to send them off to him, and yeah, and I think he'll like them. So that is done. Oh, those are my finished objects, and wowie wow. I feel great having those done. I have a couple more things on my needles that I would like to finish soon, because it is, as we all know, gift knitting season, and I have some great ideas for that. So I do have my Shawlography that I'm still working on. I've done a few videos on that for each clue. I'm trying to finish up clue 4 right now, which is the last one, and I have decided what I'm going to do for the border, so that's great. I've been waffling back and forth tremendously about that border. Everybody has these really different feelings about it, and when I actually do it, I'll show you what I've decided and get that going, because yeah. But if you would like to see the other clues, feel free to check out those videos. There's a video for each clue, and just my thoughts and process around it are all in those. The only other thing I have on my needles right now is my second pumpkin spice sock. I just got the cuff. Just got the cuff joined there from my cast on, so it's a double thick. This is what the first sock looked like. I accidentally washed it in the washer, but the pattern of this stitch still looks really good. The only thing that I think happened is that the yarn got a little bit, it doesn't seem as bright, I think, maybe, because I washed it accidentally, and so I washed it with everything, like any color that was in there. But I love this yarn. It's like streaks of color in parts of it and speckles of color in other parts of it, and I really liked making this sock. The pattern is by Katie Anders. You can find her patterns on Ravelry, but you can also just find them on her website at katieandersknits.com. And I would suggest that you go to her website because not only are her patterns there, she also dyes yarn. She has naturally dyed yarn there, and it's gorgeous, and I love it. I showed a skein of her yarn that I got last time in episode 7, and I still am dreaming up what I want to do with that one. But this is Amber Waves of Fiber in the Simple Sock base, which is 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon in the colorway Pair Caravel. So the orange is a 20-gram mini that came with it, and this is the 100-gram skein that came with it. So as you can see, I've got a ton left after that first sock. The one thing that I'm wondering is if I'm going to have enough for the heel and the toe. I did the cuffs, heels, and toes on this sock because I like how it looked, and I still stand by that decision. However, I don't know if I'm going to have enough, and I don't think that is a problem with the amount of yarn I received. It's a problem with me thinking through how, or not thinking through, how the cuffs of these socks are double what a cuff normally would be, which I love. I love how squishy that makes it and how stretchy that makes it. You guys know I am a provisional cast on junkie. I love it. And it's not hard if you practice it. Like, I know that there are some techniques that people just don't like. Like, some people just don't like Kitchener stitch, and some people just don't like provisional cast-ons. And I understand. And honestly, with a provisional cast-on, there's always a moment, always, with a fold-over cuff that I'm about done with it. And I think, I don't know if this is worth it. Like, having to knit twice as long, which knitting 2 1/4 inches versus 1 inch is not that big of a deal. But for some reason, near the end, I'm like, do I really need to do this? But I'm always glad that I did when I join it together. It's just the squishiest. Oh, it's so good. So this is not going to be a huge priority. This is just a sock for me to finish off this pair. I have 2 other socks to finish off pairs that I need to finish. And those are just going to be things that I'm going to try and do before the end of the year. So there's that. Well, I guess the other thing that I have that's a work in progress right now, I do actually have it on needles, I just haven't worked on it very much, is this sock tube. I got this cranked up from the Yarn Pharm on Etsy. She has a sale going on right now where it's $12 to crank 100 grams of sock yarn. And usually the average is like $16, $17. And so I thought, well, I'm going to take advantage of this. And I think she has that sale going on for the holidays. And this is some yarn that I got at my local yarn shop. It's called, the brand is called Happy Feet. And it is 90% wool and 10% nylon. Where's the, there it is. Okay. It is 90% superwash merino, 10% nylon. And this one is in the color number 6. So if you look here, You can see that one. It's called Happy Feet 100. Maybe it's just called Happy Feet and it's for 100, like the 100 there was for the grams because it was a 100 grams gain. They did all of this for me, and then I asked for 20 grams to be set back so that if I want to cut in the heels in the same yarn, then it'll be great. But I just love looking at stockinette fabric. I think it's almost soothing, you know? So I put these on my circular needles and added some flax, some Paton's Kroy in the colorway flax to it. And I'm working on a project design. My mother every year for Christmas has asked for peace, love, and socks for as long as I can remember. Since I was really little, when we would ask her what she wanted for Christmas, she would say peace, love, and socks. And now as an adult, I totally understand what she was saying. Like she just wanted a really nice day with us. And basically like, please don't fight with each other and make Christmas nice. So I have my little toe markers on there, and I'm going to be doing a special toe on here, and I'm hoping I can get it done really soon so that I could even share it with you and release a sock recipe pattern for in enough time that you could do it yourself if you wanted to. And you can cheat and use the Yarn Pharm for a sock tube if you want as well. I'm totally fine with that kind of cheating. I will link the Yarn Pharm as well as everything else that I talk about in the description box below. So I'm sorry if you've been taking notes like a college student or something. I try to say that at the beginning of a video. And I got carried away this time. So also feel free to like, comment, subscribe. I love all of that. I love being able to come out with content that you like. So feel free to tell me, you know, the parts that were your favorite. I'm also going to be participating in, sorry, I'm moving on in my mind to other things. I will talk real quick about Vlogmas, and then I'll show you some acquisitions that I got. So I'm going to be participating in Vlogmas. I am excited about that. I've wanted to be more intentional about Advent for a few years now, and it's just, you know, the time gets away from me, and then we're 6 days in, and then I always think, it's not good. But I am going to be, paying attention to the Advent Guide by Felicia Masonheimer. She's a theologian, and she has this great Instagram account. Feel free to follow her. I am going to be following her Advent Guide, and I am excited about it. It has a short history and celebration guide for Christmas. I love the history of everything. I love the history of liturgical calendar stuff. I love the history of, I love the etymology of different words. I love learning about Roman cities. I love all of that. And I wouldn't call myself a history buff or anything. I just like learning about the background of stuff because it helps the reality and present make more sense to me. So I have a lot of plans for things to put on the needles after I finish my Shawlography. I just want to focus on that for the next few days and get that done so that I can wear it and so that it'll just be done. And the only thing that I will have on the needles for myself after that for a while are just the second socks that I need to get done to make the pairs, because then I will have 4 pairs of socks for myself, guys, which I think is pretty great for this year, since I started knitting socks in, was it the end of July? Sometime in July, I did my first pair of socks, and then I've made a couple pairs of socks for my siblings. I've made socks for 3 of my children. So how many is that? 1, 2, 5. So if I finish the second socks by the end of the year, I'll have made 9 pairs of socks since July, which is really fun. It's more than one. That's more than one a month, guys. I like that. I like that. Oh, also, frogging update. I frogged my Cala Galdana. The pattern is by Kat from Heather and Hops, and I absolutely love it. I think it's really pretty, and it's a great summer top, but I just wasn't feeling it because it's November, and I feel like if I want to knit it again in the summertime, then I should do that. But also, I think I'm going to knit it out of something else. I really liked the look and the color of this yarn. It's an alpaca silk blend, and it's just the softest. Oh, it's so nice. But it's alpaca. And by the end of, I was probably halfway through the length of the body. I had joined everything, and it was probably here. And then I realized, oh, you know, if I don't like it this way, then I could just add sleeves and it'll be a sweater. And I thought, why am I planning on this being a sweater? Why don't I just knit a sweater? So I want to knit a sweater, and I think I'm going to do that in January. Feel free to send me sweater recommendations. I have never knit a sweater before. I'm excited to knit myself a sweater. I have so many store-bought sweaters, but my goal is to slowly replace them with the ones that I've knit. And yeah, and I think I will actually have less sweaters that way. Yeah, I think it'll actually work out that I will have less sweaters that way. So, on to acquisitions. I told you guys about Katie Anders yarn. Her brand for her yarn is called Yurt and Yarrows, and look at this color. Isn't it so pretty? Oh, it's really nice. This is a 100% organic, non-superwash merino in a fingering weight, and I was able to get 2 of those. This is in the color number 27. Now, there's no more of this color left. This one's sold out. But there are a few more colors that are left. So feel like hop on over there, because I'm sure they're going to be gone soon. The next thing that I got was... Oh, I am so excited about this next thing, guys. This is... Stolen Stitches yarn, and look at that. It's kind of heathered, so much so that it almost looks like there's a couple bits in there that are almost like tweedy. And this is a 60% merino wool, 20% yak, and 20% linen blend. I think the linen just probably gives it some structure, and I've never worked with yak before, but I've heard it's really warm. And so this is what I'm going to make my next Musselburgh out of. And because putting the alpaca on the inside was such a good idea and made it so comfy, I got another skein of Cumulus. It's exactly the same brand, exactly the same blend, but it's in the colorway Moss, and I just think this is gonna be perfect. I think this, I forgot to tell you, this was an adult medium, So I'm gonna make an adult small, or I think that's the child, like the child large and the adult small are the same size. And I think I'm gonna make it in that size, and then we will be cooking with gas for that. And if for some reason I like the bigger hat more, I'll send this one to my sister instead. Oh, and I got one more acquisition here. Oh, I have, okay, so I got this Sweet Georgia Tough Love sock. And the color is Summer Skin. And look at that. This is coming off a lot brighter here than it is in real life. This is a very like Cinderella color. It's paler than it's coming up for you right now. This is almost looking teal in the camera, but it's not how it is in real life. And this is a 20 gram called Buckle My Shoes from both of these, well, everything but Katie Anders yarn I got at my local yarn shop. And this I'm going to use to make some Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo socks for my sister-in-law. I have her for our gift exchange, and these are the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo socks by Kay Jones. My sister-in-law is a big Disney fan, and she likes Cinderella, and so I thought that would be thoughtful to be able to make her a pair of hand knit socks, in that she lives in California. So I originally was thinking maybe I would do a DK pattern, but I don't think I will. I think I'm going to make her some fingering weight socks and maybe do my first DK sock for myself later, because she didn't need any DK weight socks in California. She doesn't need that. So hopefully the next time we meet, I will have a lot of things done, but because I'll be participating in Vlogmas, I'm not going to be doing regular podcast episodes. I'm probably going to do one more at the end of December. I'll stop Vlogmas on Christmas, and then probably do another episode before the end of the year, and then episode 10 will be in 2022. Crazy. But I'll show you projects as I finish them and as I start them during Vlogmas. I'm excited to participate. I think it's going to be lots of fun. And I'm really hoping I can get that design done during Vlogmas so that you'll be able to participate with it too. If you are making socks during this period of time, just know that there are several sock knit alongs happening right now that have like prizes attached to them. And with the socks that I'm finishing, I am going to definitely use those hashtags. Sockmas by Knitting Natty is one, and Make Good Socks by the Make Good podcast is another one. And I feel like I heard of another one recently too. So I'm just going to be paying attention to that and put them both together. So who knows? Maybe it will win some prizes. I don't know. I think that's it, guys. I should probably head to bed because tomorrow's Thanksgiving, and the whole point is to be thankful and not grumpy, right? That's the whole point. But I hope that you have a lovely Thanksgiving, and if you need someone to keep you company during Thanksgiving because you aren't able to enjoy the holiday with people that you love, I hope that you are able to just watch some of my videos to keep you company, and yeah, just enjoy all the knitting today and all the other days, and take care of yourselves and take care of each other. And I'll see you next time.